What up, what up, what up, everybody? Happy Thursday, Friday Eve. I know somebody out there's favorite day is Thursday, but for most of us, we're just working for the weekend, man. We're trying to just grind through and get there. But today on the Grid and Grind show, brought to you by the Off the Bench Podcast Network, we got a good one. We got Sammy Nalley of the Southwest Florida Sharks. She's going to come on and talk to us about her fitness journey, 2024 season. We'll talk about the highs and lows of that. And we got to get into 2025 because it's basically here. The schedule should be set here at the end of this week from what I hear. And it'll be a good one. The Sharks are looking to come back strong, looking to, repeat as the regular season, number one seed going into the playoffs, but also, they're looking to change the outcome just slightly from last season to this season and see what they got to do to win it all. But before we get into all that and before Sammy joins us, we got to plug the sponsors. We got to pay the bills so I can keep the lights on in this piece. The Off the Bench Podcast Network's Grid and Grind show is brought to you by Chinook Seeds. Whether you're on the field or in the boardroom signing deals, Chinook helps you get the job done. 8 flavors, mild to wild. Go to your local grocery store, gas station, convenience store, wherever. Go to the snack aisle. You know where the snack aisle is, and pick up the blue bag. Chinook, the best seeds in the game. Memphis City Designs. Get your brands, gear, and logos on everything from shoes to underoos. Get your off the bench gear while supplies last. They got just a few hoodies and long sleeve shirts from our winter collection left because the spring is here and we got the new color waves getting ready to hit soon. So be on the lookout for that. Relief Chiropractic, Dr. Vic Robinson. Got the magic hands. He's rejuvenating people. He's adding years to their life. Go in and see him for a free consult. He's going to do a needs assessment, and he's going to put together a tailored prescriptive plan that matches your needs. Not anybody else's needs, but your needs. Go see him. I promise you won't be disappointed. And Old Dominic Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis. From bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin. Old Dominic's got you covered. Stop in today for a tour or to pick up your favorite bottle. And with that, I can keep the lights on one more day in this place, but we got to do some business. We got to bring to the show with the biggest interview this week, Sammy Nalley of the Southwest Florida Sharks. Sammy,
hey,
what up?
Hopefully I'm not the only interview this week.
No. We've had
Okay.
multiple. So the podcast network itself, we have a college gymnastics show, we have a college baseball show, we have a professional baseball show, and we do just an overall sports headline show, and we do the Grid show. You aren't the only Grid person this week, and you're not the only show that we've had. So you are the best. You are the best. But let's get into this a little bit because, we talk to a lot of the Sharks, and a lot of them, when I ask, who is somebody to look out for, who is somebody that anchors the team, who is somebody that people rally around, who is somebody that you look at as a leader, and your name always pops up. There's a couple of others, but your name is always in the mix. So before we get into Grid, help walk me through how you become a leader. How do you get into sports? How do you develop this mindset? Because I need to know. So what's your fitness journey?
My fitness journey? I started out, my main sport was gymnastics growing up. I did gymnastics for about 15 years. I did not end up doing it in college. High school, I messed around with a couple other sports too. I did track, cheerleading. What else did I do? I don't know, a few other things, softball, you name it. I tried it out. Did not do any sports in college, still kept eating like I did sports in college. Didn't do anything. So I gained a ton of weight. Not a ton, but a lot for me, I guess. Was super, super out of shape, couldn't do anything. And then in 2013, I had a friend drag me to CrossFit. So I started doing that. Not going to say that I loved it right off the bat. It was definitely harder than anything I've ever done before. But I ended up falling in love with it, just the competitive aspect to it. The fact that everything was for time. So I started getting into that. I just did one class a day for a bunch of years. And then I think it was 2021, Roderick asked if I would compete with Timberwolf CrossFit for the Open, and I had just gotten over an Achilles tear and stuff. So I was like, I mean, I'll do it, but I'm not going to really count for any scores. Ended up like doing all right, being on their team, competing at the CrossFit Games that season, and then signed to a grid team as well that season, which I never thought I would be able to do either, but I ended up getting in shape, getting a bunch of my cool gymnastics skills back. So that's kind of how I got into grid as well.
I mean, I wish I could tear an Achilles and then come back and have the best year of my life. I
Right?
mean, like you go to the CrossFit Games and I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think that you went to the CrossFit Games because you didn't have any expectations to do that? Because it sounded like you were just going to do it to help out, but the expectations were limited and there was zero pressure. You were going to do the best that you could do, but you end up maybe without those expectations and putting that pressure on yourself or others putting pressure on you, you end up going to CrossFit Games. Like, was that a correlation for you? Or once you got through the Open and you start seeing how you're doing, you're like, no, I'm going to flip the switch here. We're going to get after this a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, up until even at semifinals, I thought there was no way we'd be able to qualify. Roderick was the one that always was like, guys, we can qualify, guys. Like, and I was just like, yeah, we're just out here to like have a good time and just be fit and like enjoy it and stuff. So I definitely think that like that lack of pressure helped us relax and just we did the best that we could and had a good time. So there's definitely a lot to say for not putting that pressure on yourself. And I think it was the same for the first year of grid too. Like we all just had fun, enjoyed each other's company, got to know each other, and worked really well together as a team and ended up being like pretty successful, even though it was like a bunch of people's first year. Maybe we didn't have the most talent. So yeah, it definitely helped.
Yeah. How do you find grid? Obviously, like the world of CrossFit and the world of grid, they overlap. I mean, the circles that you run in, you'll probably meet somebody or see it somewhere. But how do you get approached, or do you do the approaching, or do you just go, I'm going to do the grid trials because that's a thing? Like, how do you initially find out about the sport itself?
I found out about it because somebody in Minnesota where I used to live used to do it. I think Kelly Wild. And I think she got drafted first for the NPGL when it was National Pro Grid League. Um, and I just thought it was so cool and I looked up to her and so that's how I kind of got introduced to it. And I still didn't know exactly what it was. But I kind of started following it a little bit. And then my best friend, Rebecca, worked out at a gym with John and Blake, a couple of my old teammates, and they were looking for some girls. And she was like, you should do it. You should do it. So she put me in touch with Blake. And then I think, put me in touch with Adam. I don't know. I got in touch with them somehow because I could do backflips and some gymnastics stuff. And then I don't know. I couldn't do any of that stuff because I was coming off the Achilles tear. Like I couldn't sprint until probably June. I wasn't able to like fully run. So I was like, I don't know how much of a help I'm gonna be, but I'll try it. And I ended up pushing myself and being just fine. But they were really looking for girls and like knew I was capable of doing stuff.
Is it scary to come back from an Achilles? Well, any injury, I'm sure as a lifelong gymnast, like you have your fair share of like injuries.
Mhm.
Some probably minor, a couple maybe more on the major side, but when you come back initially, is there like a fear of doing it or are you excited? Like, because for me, like if I tore an Achilles, like, I would milk that shit all forever. Like, I would just be
Yeah.
like, "I just can't do any jumps. I can't even step." Like, it would be rough. But for you, like, what is the mindset going in? Or was there some fear?
Oh, for sure. I mean, fear fear of failure too and like embarrassment and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I remember one of my first times sprinting was at Granite Games and stuff. So I was scared to like go full speed. I was scared to do, I remember my first back tuck. Um, but I mean, a lot of it is just like not putting in that good of scores for the open. I remember they had double unders, they had burpee box jump overs. And I think somebody like commented on my burpee box jump overs. They're like, oh man, you're landing really hard on that box. I'm like, yeah, because I can't freaking jump.
Yeah.
Um, and like, I didn't get the score I wanted on everything. But yeah, I mean, it's always in the back of your head that first time doing things, and then you slowly get more comfortable and more comfortable.
Yeah, it's probably also helpful to have it in that competitive arena, like because if you're training and it's just a normal day of training, it's really hard to put yourself in the mindset where I gotta push the pressure on this Achilles. I've gotta like amp up the intensity because in the back of your head, you're like, well, this is just training. I don't have to. But
Hmm.
if you're in competition in the midst of it, like I think your natural instinct, your competitive nature will take over and it'll push you a little bit harder than maybe you really want to.
Hmm.
And so you look back on it and go, "Oh shit, I actually did have a lot of intensity with this and I did, push a little bit. I might have held back some, but at least like having that to push you forward kind of gets you over the fear because I think everybody that's an athlete, especially the more grit athletes I talk to, they have this fire, this competitiveness inside them that it they can't stop. Once they get
Hmm.
in the zone, it's just they just go
Yeah.
and it's so I think probably being the fact that you had these competitions and these high level events going on, it probably helped to like get over the fear a little bit more as well.
Hmm.
Um, but specifically with grid, um, were you with the Sharks to start, or was there another team? What's your journey through
We,
grid?
I did 2 years with the Wild. Um, and then after those 2 years, some of the team kind of like broke up. A couple people didn't come back. We didn't know who was coming back. So then a few of us ended up signing with the Sharks. It was going to be four of us. I think it was three of us that ended up moving over there. And our old coach, Adam, was friends with Nick, the old coach of the Sharks as well. So he was like, we trust them. They're good. So a few of us ended up going with that for a season.
So what year was that you went from, I guess it was Gainesville at that time over to
Yeah.
the Sharks?
So that would have been 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. So this will be
So
my third year with the Sharks.
nice, nice. So what was the mentality? I know, the Sharks last year, all right, signed a lot of veteran players that had played in the league, but not necessarily, that didn't re-sign with their original team. And there was, I don't know why, but people like thought negatively of that.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Like, I feel like as a player on a team, I want to get the best of the best, and if they're proven, like that's even better. That's less of this learning curve that you have going into a new sport. But for you being on the team and you're seeing these new veteran players, come on, like what's your thought? Are you happy about that? Or are you like, oh shit, like what's going on? Is my spot secure? Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, not at all. It was entirely fine. I mean, each of those athletes have their own story on like why they ended up switching teams, and none of them were for the reason that they wanted to win necessarily or like be a part of the best team. I mean, we were friends with a few of them before they came, so it was more like team chemistry for a couple of them. I mean, obviously, David was on the winning team, the Aces, the year before, so it's not like he was going to a better team. It's just we hung out with him outside of grid, kept in touch with him outside of grid, so I think he just like clicked with us. Same for Sydney, we hung out with her, so she just enjoyed hanging out with us. Jessie wasn't going to return at all. And we liked everything that she was about, like her personality, everything. And obviously, she's super strong. Um, and then Roderick, I've known for a long time. He did not play this season before, so he did not play in 2023. And we kind of convinced him to come back for a season. So everybody just kind of had their own reasoning for joining our team, but it wasn't to like build a super team.
Right. I mean, in hindsight, great. Like the season ended the way you guys were the top seed going into the playoffs, and like,
Mhm.
but I don't think the idea was let's build a super team. I think it was like we have some holes. Let's fill it with the best that we can get. If there are veteran players out there, then why not sign them?
Yep.
Like it to me, it's just like a simple formula. It makes sense. I think other people were just butthurt. Let's just be real. Like
Yeah.
they didn't like it because they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously moving forward, getting into this past season, the 2024 season. Did before the season started, you guys are preparing, you got, the team that you got, once it's all squared away before that first match, what was the expectations of the team? Did you think you guys could have the season that you had, or did you think it was going to be more of a grind, or what was the feeling going into last season?
I mean, it's always just doing the best you can, doing whatever job that they like put you up to. Um, I mean, the goal is always to win, obviously, but even if you have the best people, that doesn't mean that you're going to win. There's plenty of other good teams out there. I mean, we weren't the champions going into the season by any means. And we had to go up against the Aces, I think, right away. So that in itself, like, we had no idea what was going to happen. So you have to be smart with who you put where. And and I mean, as you can tell, like our championship game against the Wild, like if you don't execute, you're done. It doesn't matter if you're the better team or not.
So let's
So
let's get
I mean, the season as a whole, like the goal was to win, but you you can't go into it expecting that you're going to be better than other people because I think that's when you get beat.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I mean, obviously you guys ran through the regular season. You did, you won the matches that were put in front of you. You guys executed well. Everything that I've seen from those regular season matches, everyone, executed, communicated, and did everything you could ask that a championship potential team would do. So you get into that first round matchup against the Brigade, and the Brigade had to play in the final regular season match the day before, so they're coming in fatigued.
Mhm.
Was that a thought for you guys? Oh, these guys are coming in, under fatigue. Like we're fresh. Like we need to just own this, or was it, hey, just take it one race at a time and everyone do what your part is, and then the end result will be what it is?
Yeah, it was taking it one race at a time. Gosh, I'm trying to think if I even like really assess the match. I'm so busy these days. Half the
Yeah.
time, like I used to be all about it. Like, okay, I know they're gonna win this race. They're gonna win that race. Um, and Fico and Conce like do a good job of just taking all of that stuff over. But um, I don't think we thought it was going to be as close as it was. But it also makes sense that it was like they're a strong team and stuff. Their girls are strong. So it's more about like taking it one race at a time. Um, and just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, when I talked to some of the Brigade players, and they said, it came down to the sprint relay, and obviously like a fatigue, may probably have had something to do with it, but in the moment they didn't feel fatigue. They felt like they were as strong. It was just you guys, the Sharks, were the better team, and
Mhm.
it kind of makes sense. You go through the regular season, the number one seed, like you kind of, the expectation is, well, you're supposed to win this match, but the reality is when you're in a sport like grid and seconds matter, like you can't just make the assumption that you're the number one seed, so you're supposed to win. You got to go earn it, and you guys definitely went out and earned it. You took down that sprint relay to propel you to victory, moving you to the championship match. Setting up, in my opinion, what if you're a league commissioner or in the league, you like you gotta want the number one seed and the number two seed to play each other in a championship. It just like like it kind of solidifies the reason for the season and the reason why the teams are where they are. And
Mhm.
so we get you guys, the number one seed, taking on the Wild. They had to defeat the Aces, a really tough team to get themselves into a championship situation. They did that. Going into the championship, what are the thoughts? I know it's tough to kind of go back that far and remember, but was there anything that sticks out as far as like anxiety or fear or nervousness, or was it all like, no, like we're ready, let's go get this?
Um, I mean, we were ready. The only thing is we knew that I think their guys were a lot stronger than our guys and stuff. We knew we were going to lose races like near. We knew that there were going to be races that we were going to lose. So we thought that that rate or that match probably would be closer. So I mean, you just do the best you can to execute and win the races that you know you should win, but we definitely made some mistakes and didn't execute how we needed to do.
What would you say was the one thing, like was it just the communication and the execution, or was there one in particular race or two races, or was there one pivotal point of the match where you're like, that's where it got away from us?
Um, I'm trying to think. There was a few people that just made little tiny mistakes. I'm trying to think. I think there was at least 3, like, mistakes individually that kind of those races were super, super close, and we ended up losing those, so, like, right off the bat, we were behind. I'm not gonna, like, say which specific race or call anybody out and stuff. I
No.
know my teammates did the best that they could, um, but the Wild executed, like, nearly perfectly, so we just yeah, those little individual mistakes just can't happen.
No, I just asked because it just, when you get to that position and something like that happens, it kind of just, reiterates the fact of how uncharacteristic that was for your team, because
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, mistakes happen whether it's like not preparing enough, like thinking that you're prepared, knowing you can do the movement, but not like 100% making sure that you're prepared. And really like thinking it through and staying calm under pressure. I think when you're racing and stuff, sometimes you can slip up a little bit because you're like trying to go too fast. So it's just knowing yourself as an athlete and how to calm yourself down and stuff. And um, some people struggle with that more than others.
yeah, it's tough. I think that's the one thing that's really tough in regards to grid is you have a lot of players, and they don't necessarily are in the same area. They don't live near each other. You don't necessarily have a practice where everybody is live and practice, and like you can see how they react, you can see their emotions, you can feel their emotions. And it's a lot different when you get on the grid with people and you have to go, all right, let me feel these people out. How, like, what type of athlete are they someone who's like reserve and they're going to get after it on the grid? Are they someone who needs a little bit of motivation to pump them up to get them going, or is they someone who is just nervous and anxious, naturally, and you got to quell some of that? But obviously that's kind of the beauty is grid allows you to find people and have a team. You can compete like yourself for a team and practice for a team and not even live in the state or the area that the team is located in. And that's
Mhm.
that's a great thing with grid, and I think that's what allows it to have um, the expansion and do the things that it's doing. But when you look back at 2024, is it a disappointment? Is it, net positive or net neutral? Like, how do you classify last season?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a positive because I think we took that time to learn about each other and stuff. Like now we're really starting to get to know each other as athletes. And that does take some time when you're not working out together all the time. Um, so it's like now we kind of know like this person can definitely step up here. We can rely on this person. This person probably shouldn't be put somewhere where they're not entirely prepared. So like it's all just learning about each other and we can kind of iron out the details from there.
Yeah. So 2025, big season. Obviously, I see that you've re-signed. You're ready to go. Um, what is it that well, let's start with this. Let's start with you. What is your personal goal for the season? I mean, take away winning a championship. Like, is there one thing that you're working on, one thing that you're shooting to do? Like, what is your personal goal for the 2025 grid season?
So my off training started out, I needed to get back in cardio shape a little bit. I hadn't been doing CrossFit at all, so I like kind of went back and used that as my cardio. I still need to cut a little bit just for my body weight stuff, but the main goal is, well, one, always to stay healthy, but two, build some fast twitch muscle fibers just so I can move a little bit faster than other people. So we have like a lot of people on our team that are like similar in strength, similar in speed. So I think if I want to be out there on the floor, like I need to be able to move faster than other people. So Nick and I have been working on a lot of just sprinting and fast twitch stuff. Nothing like super high volume, just building up those muscle fibers. And then we're going to slowly start to add in some volume here. And then like overall in the season, like I want to be strong. I want to be able to like move the mirror weights fast. Yeah.
I mean,
I want everything to be like executed perfectly. I have all the movements and stuff down because I've done grid for so long. But yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm able to like be out there for a lot of the strength stuff and fill in where my team needs me.
yeah. I mean,
We did work a lot of squatting, so I think where we
I could see that.
yeah, where we struggled as a team was some of the fast squatting and stuff, especially on the female side. And I have super long limbs, so I don't even know if they're going to use me at all. But I'm like, I want to be prepared just in case they need me for some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to depth. I mean, it's a aggressive sport. It's a violent sport in regards to like the wear and tear on your body, and it's always helpful to have someone like yourself who can do other things in case somebody goes down. Because if you're in the match and someone gets hurt or however it goes, like you need to know that you have options, and it's nice to have a well-rounded athlete that can do all those things. And I see you're doing the squats, you're doing the lifting, you're getting stronger, you're working on the speed, all these things that you know that are gonna really propel you to hit those goals that you're looking for the end of the season. But obviously the goal is for the Sharks to win the championship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Um, if let's fast forward and say let's say the Sharks win 2025 Grid League championship. What was it that you guys did that made that happen? What was different from last year that allowed you to do that this year?
Be extremely organized. I think from a coach's standpoint, I know Conce and Fico are working super hard at that. We are having like a camp get together weekend. So I think us being closer and really knowing each other will really help with that, just team chemistry in general. And then, I mean, we're having everyone time everything. So we're going to have everything set like down to the millisecond. And we have everything in files and stuff. We have everybody's times for everything that we're going to get. So I think just being super prepared and having good team chemistry would be the main two things.
Definitely. Do you think what's your thought on the team? Is it solidified? Do you know, or are you guys still looking to add players? What's the roster looking like?
Um, we have enough right now. We've signed, I think, 3 new people. I don't know if they've announced the third one. They've announced 2 of them. I think we're probably just missing possibly 1 or 2 people. And I know they're working on that. So I think we'll be okay if we don't have those people, but it would be nice to have 1 or 2 more people.
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't a surprise. This is on the website. You've got Kristen Bonito, Zayn Zafra,
Mhm.
Dana Parin, and Lucas Da Silva. Those are the 4 new faces that I see.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
Lucas is the one that I don't think they've. They
So
announced on Instagram or whatever, but if he's on the website, then
he is on the website. So when you look at those four, does that?
Kristen's been on the team.
Oh, okay. I
She's been on.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
So when you look at those three, does that propel you? Is that the one thing, having those three athletes, does that put you over the top? Or is it more like you said, we got to have a lot more of this camaraderie, this communication, this, organization, or is players enough? Like, I guess my question is really, do players themselves allow you to win a championship in your eyes, or does it take a lot more things happening?
I mean, it takes a lot of things happening, and a lot of it is going to be like who you put where. But I think the players that we did sign are going to be great. We really needed another female utility player. Dana can do just about anything. She's faster at squatting than Val and I. She can do like a lot of different movements where we need her. She can back up Chelsea for some gymnastics movements. She can do a lot, so I'm really happy that we signed her. And then Z, we really needed a strength guy. He's good with all the squatting, all the weights and stuff, so that really filled in where we needed. Lucas, I honestly don't know what he can do. If you look at his Instagram, he does some really cool shit, but we just signed him the other day, so he hasn't been a part of any of our Zoom meetings yet, so I don't really know like where he's gonna fill in, but I know that he will be able to fill in some different places.
I mean,
Have
he
you looked
looks.
at his profile? He looks strong as shit.
I know he looks strong as fuck.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. All right, champion bodybuilder. All right,
Yeah.
elite agility, strength, mental toughness. Hybrid approach to training, which most people do. Here's the big one: United States Marine Corps. I mean, I think
Right.
that's basically all I needed to read, and I realized quickly, I'm not on that level,
Yeah.
and that's a different breed. But let's talk about this off-season training. Obviously, I see some stuff that you're doing. You mentioned CrossFit. It's a very fitting day. Are you doing the Open?
Yeah, I'm excited to see the open announcement. I'm gonna do the workouts. I don't think I'm gonna sign up. Which I think I've signed up for like the last 10 years. So it's kind of a big change for me, but um I just have no reason to really. Like I'm not competing with a team. There's no chance at quarterfinals. They don't have quarterfinals anymore. So as an individual athlete, like that kind of takes some of the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to train for everything. So like the chance of making it to a semifinal, whatever, like are probably very slim. So I'm basically just doing it just to stay in shape and just brush up on my skills and stuff and keep some capacity going. Um, I
The
think
the
I
last
would
the
have.
last time that you went into an Open just kinda cruising, like, you went to the CrossFit Games, just saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but quarterfinals was always super
That's
fun. Like, I didn't even do individual quarterfinals ever, but like, I know at the gyms I was at, they always had a good group of people doing it together, and it was just like a fun experience. And it was always fun to like try to make it to semifinals, even if you couldn't make it to the CrossFit Games. Like semifinals is still fun to do in person, and now that they don't have that for teams, it's just kind of like, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it for people like me that I would never I would say I'm a very good athlete, but I'm not a CrossFit Games athlete.
Hmm.
Taking away the 2 in between steps that I could possibly achieve, like, that hurts a little bit,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so, I can understand, like, you saying, "Well, there's really no point." Like, I can do the open workouts at my own leisure with whenever I want to, and, like, I don't have to be, constricted to this time frame, and I can do it with a class. I don't have to do it on my own. I can do the Friday night lights. I don't have to worry about doing it multiple times and leaderboard
Mhm.
watching and all that stuff that goes with it. But when you look at CrossFit, are you worried? And you could talk as little or as much about this as you want, but I always like to talk to athletes that do CrossFit and ask, based on everything that's going on, are you worried about the sport of CrossFit, or it's just kind of they're building to get over what they're doing, and they got to learn from it, and when they do, it'll be okay. It's just in that weird phase of learning and growth.
Yeah. Well, what's frustrating to me is I've competed for however many years, and it's like we don't get paid to do it. If anything, we're paying to do it. And it takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy, and I'm fine with doing that as long as it's like as long as I know I'm paving the road for other people. So it's like as long as people in the future are going to get the chance to make more money and it grows the sport and stuff, and the fact that it's going in like more of a negative direction is kind of frustrating as a sport, not necessarily as like CrossFit as a whole, but like sport wise and competing wise. They already took regionals away once and that wasn't any fun, and then they brought it back and now they're taking it away again, and it's just like it's frustrating from a sports standpoint. And I understand it's the best of the best. They're only taking 20 teams to the games, whatever. But I think from a competitive standpoint, it's fun to at least try. And like knowing you don't have a chance is kind of just like not that exciting. So I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in that aspect, but I think that CrossFit in general will always be there because I think it is doing a lot of good. Sometimes depending on gym to gym, I don't necessarily agree with the training and stuff, but as a whole, and what they preach in general, like it obviously changes a lot of lives and stuff. So, I'll always promote a lot of good things about CrossFit, but as a sport, it's kind of disheartening right now.
Yeah, I think if you want to see the positive from CrossFit, you need to go into a box and you need to see the 90%, not the
Yep.
10% that are in the sport, but the 90% of the, you know, members that, you come across these stories that, adaptive, stories. You have stories of people who are on a weight loss journey that have gone from not even being able to move and hospital ridden to being able to do the open. You have,
Mhm.
mothers, you have fathers, you have grandmothers, great grandmothers, grandparents. You have all walks of life going in there doing a sport, or a workout and changing their life and completely. The way I look at it is you are adding time. There's never things in your life. Time is always moving so fast and it's very
Mhm.
finite. But when you can go into a CrossFit gym and see those people and their stories, then you see that people are just buying life.
Yeah.
They're buying more time with the people that matter, and that's pretty cool. That's,
Yeah.
and it's hard to knock fitness, um, you know, construction that does that. And I'm not saying there's not more of those out there, but in regards to CrossFit, like if you want to see the good, that's
Mhm.
where you need to go see the good. There are some good things in the sport side, but you getting away from the 90% of the people that do CrossFit, and it's not
Yeah.
for the sport. So
Yeah, I mean, it is like it's one of the best parts of your day, and you learn so much about yourself and stuff. You get close with other people. Um, I mean, there's nothing like seeing the same people every day and suffering with them and getting close with them and stuff.
yeah.
It's definitely fun.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you have been to a CrossFit, box, you will inevitably, if you stay there long enough, you will know people that marry each other,
Mhm.
that become best friends, that hang out in just the group of the CrossFit, people. Um, you'll see, kids of your friends because you like it just becomes this family, and it's such a unique thing. Like you could go into, no knock on like, Planet Fitness or Crunch or anything like that, but like I've been in those gyms and you don't know, like, you
No,
don't
it's
know
not the
the
same.
people. It's not
Yeah.
the same. So the community aspect, I think, is the great part. If we can, if CrossFit can get back to the whole community part, I think they'll do a lot of winning. Um,
Mhm.
but hey, it is what it is. And, I'm still going to get out there in my garage and program some shit and suffer and feel
Yeah.
bad and then love it the next day. So, um, for you, obviously you've got some grid stuff in there. You're doing your CrossFit. You know, what are there any events outside of grid that you're looking to do? Are you doing any CrossFit events? Are you doing any, marathons, half marathons? I mean, you're working on your
Not
feet.
that,
Like
that's
what?
for sure. No. I have zero desire to run. I have zero desire to do high rocks ever.
I,
Um, but I am doing a little local CrossFit competition just for the heck of it, just to have something to motivate me. So me and a few of the girls at the gym, it's just a 1 day individual thing. So I don't feel entirely prepared and I'm not as fit as I used to be CrossFit wise, but it still should be fun.
I think you sell yourself short, Sammy. I think you're
I
you're
know.
you're
It's just
still
that
pretty
dang
fit.
cardio.
Oh
Well, I
man,
mean, compared to what I used to do, I'd spend like at least 2 nights a week doing like 75-minute cardio sessions. I'd have
holy smokes!
multiple sessions a day. I used to work out for hours and now um I don't do that. So it's like knowing where I was before, it's kind of hard to take a step back, but also like
Uh,
it's humbling, it's good for the ego. You have to remember that that's the position that a lot of people are in is just doing the best they can and doing it for fun.
Absolutely. That's the medals back here.
Yeah.
I did a lot of running, and so,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
the one reason I'm out of the marathon game is for that reason. It's just so much time. It
Yeah.
is like, I just don't have the time to devote to it. Like, I have 2 kids. I know you have kids, and, like, it takes it takes your time, and it should take your time, and, like, what I don't wanna do is tell my kid, "Hey, we gotta put pause on going outside and swinging on the bar and playing around in the dirt so I
Yeah.
can go run my today's a long distance day, I need to run 17 miles." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm good with all that," or, "I need to swim, 2 miles." No. You wanna know what's I think swimming has gotta be the worst thing that you could ever do.
Why is that?
You see, like, there's nothing, it's the same vision
Yeah.
all the time, and I coached swimming, and I hated coaching swimming because it was the same thing. It was like, "Let's talk about the game plan, and here's the workout that we're doing, and here's our progressions and what we're doing," and then it was a lot of heads in the water, and,
Yeah.
like, that was I felt like I was not coaching, I felt like I was doing a lot of watching, and maybe I was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I probably
Yeah, I
was.
mean, swimming as a sport, but it's kind of relaxing. I used to swim once a week and I mean, there's no music. It's you and your thoughts. It's easier on your body. I mean, shit, some of these old people were running laps around me. It was crazy.
That's the problem. That's the problem is I would get in the pool and I would think I'm just doing things, and I
Yeah.
would look next to me and I would see like a 75-year-old just cruising, just
Yeah.
like effortless, and I'm sitting over here struggling, and I'm just like, I thought I was doing good, and I look over at John over here, and John's twice my age, and he's just kicking
Wow.
my ass in the
Yeah.
water, but
Yeah.
hey, you're right though. It is like it gives you a chance to think. It gives you a chance to just kind of be with your thoughts and it is there is some like I can understand the joy people get out of it, but uh, it's not the same as a high intensity workout.
Yeah.
Um but Sammy, I don't want to keep you. I'll give you a chance now before you bounce. Anything you want to plug or promote or put out there?
Oh, let's see. Well, one of my new sponsors, Compass Rose in town, so they're a local company. So I'll give them a little shout out. Thanks for sponsoring. I think we have a few fun new sponsors for the season. Thick Boy for sure. We're adding on. So they're going to be down at our clinic that we're doing in April. So them, and then who's another one? Unbroken. Unbroken is one of our new sponsors, and then as always, T-Mobile as well. So
Nice.
huge thanks to them. They help out pay for like our lodging and stuff. So that's going to really help out this season.
Definitely. There's definitely expenses that are accrued if you're an athlete with grid, and definitely if you're a remote athlete like yourself, like you got to be able to get to these things, and it helps. Every little bit helps. So anybody out there that wants to sponsor Sammy, like reach
Yes.
out. You know,
Yeah.
and here's the thing: I tell people this all the time. They're like, well, like I don't have that much money. Well, it doesn't take money. It can take you just saying, "Hey, I appreciate what you're doing," or "Hey, here's some product." Whatever. Like there's a recovery phase to this. There's a prep phase to this. There's a lot of different things that athletes can do. Obviously, $10, $20, 100, 1,000, $1,000,000, all of that helps.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to necessarily give money to be a partner with an athlete or an organization. So
Yeah.
keep that out there. If you have a product or you're new to the game and you want to get your face and your name out there, this is a great sport to do it. There's so much growth with the sport over the past years, and you could be a part of that. So reach out to the athletes directly or reach out to the league, and you'll find out how to be a part of it. But Sammy, I appreciate your time. I wish you nothing but the best. Have a safe and awesome off season, and I look forward to seeing you in Miami.
Are you coming to Miami? I was going to ask if you'd be at any of the
matches. That's the plan. That's the plan right now. Now, I have 2 daughters, and one does gymnastics, and you know how gymnastics world is, and it gets crazy. And currently, right now, there's nothing planned, but I also have dance competitions, and that will always take precedent. I think everybody that knows me knows that. I don't care if it's, those 2 girls are gonna take precedent over everything in my life. So if they got something going on, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
So,
love it.
but anyhow, good luck this season. If there's anything I can do for you along the way, please let me know. But with that, that's Sammy Nalley, everybody, Southwest Florida Shark member. If you like Sammy's story, or you just like hearing Average Joe's talk X's and O's, please share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on X, listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. We'll be back next week. We got a lot of good content coming your way. We got the Pros and Joes content. We got the college baseball content. We got the college gymnastics content. And the Grid and Grind show is going to be rocking and rolling next week. So y'all be good, be easy. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grid and grind all the time. We're out.